Hey, yo, what is up, guys? And we're back for another mid-season update for Assault Rumble. I'm going to be showing my highest damage teams so far. I doubt I'll be doing any more experimentation. I'm satisfied with these damage numbers I've got, and honestly, it's kind of pointless to try to aim for a higher rank since I have no boosters. And especially with the Tavern medals, a lot of people use them on this end of month banner, so it makes it pretty hard to compete with the people that have the boosters. But we're not here for that, so let's dive into the teams. But please, before that, please consider subscribing if you haven't yet. I post all kind of Optc content that you might find helpful. So initially, I went with the strength team against this fight, which wasn't that bad, as you've seen in the previous video. But this quick setup yielded me the best results. I almost reached a million damage, so you might be able to reach it with the better investment. It's a pretty simple team. Most of the units are pretty old that most people should have or would have, with the exception of Boa Hancock. I built this team around her and Kizaru for their special CT, and the rest of the team are just damage dealers. And the benches you can see are just there to satisfy the conditions for both of their specials. They are literally just level 1 characters. Kizaru needs a Blackbeard pirate character for the extra special CT issue quick characters, and it doesn't need to be a tag, just like a named character. And Boa Hancock needs 6 quick characters to give extra buffs to Luffy and Logia types, in addition to doing 4 times her attack and damage and applying special bind to the enemies. Jinbei does damage through defense and gives us a nice and cozy blanket of shields to the team. And Luffy is another damage dealer that goes through defense, in addition to all kinds of buffs that he gives to quick characters. And finally, Akainu is quick, he's a Logia, he's a damage dealer, and he has a low cooldown for his special, so he fits pretty well. Magellan and PvP Kuzan would work pretty well for this team, but the problem is that they are shooters, and this fight really destroys shooter characters. I tried this same setup with PvP Legend Kuzan instead of the Kuzan I'm using here, and he got killed pretty quickly within like the first 40 or 50 seconds. And my Kuzan is fully maxed on level 150, so I would advise against bringing any shooters to this fight. Unless it's Strength Urab, because it's pretty good units and it's worth the trouble. The other thing about this team is that there is a huge variance in damage. I ran it like 3 or 4 times and the damage ranged from 600,000 to 900,000. So you might not get the same result as me on your first try, or you might even get better than me if you have higher investments and the RNG work with you. It depends how many times Boa launches her special and how many of her super special she gets off, because it depends on how many specials she takes from the enemy, and that's pretty RNG. And for the Blackbeard fight, this is a tricky fight because unlike the quick teams where good units are pretty rare, Sign Free Spirit characters have an abundance of great units that destroy int enemies like Memory Sanji or the Galaxy Impact Guard, for example. The problem here is surviving the whole 2 minutes without losing almost the whole team. Blackbeard really slaps with his normal attacks, and they are cleave attacks, meaning they're gonna hit 2 or 3 characters at the same time. Your team will get whittled down over time just with his normal attacks. If you don't have a healer or a shielder or a unit that can confuse him for longer periods of time, it's gonna be a struggle. That's why I brought Yamato and Shanks. On top of their very good damage, Yamato applies half stats, which reduces significantly Blackbeard's damage. You just have to be lucky with her and hit him with her special, with her half stats. And Shanks gives a ton of HP and defense to the Psy units in the team, in addition to his pretty good damage and his special CT increase. The bench is purely here to satisfy Shanks' condition. You need any member of his crew I chose Lime Juice. You can bring any other character that is Sai or whatever. Just bring it here. He gives us extra CT buffs to the team if you have the character there. The variance and RNG on this setup can be frustrating because some tries I just got wrecked by Blackbeard pretty early before I could do anything, or I would just do good damage, but half of the team would be dead by the end. I also tried a couple other combinations, like you could add the waifus, the int or the strength purely for the confusion on the enemies, that way you won't have to deal with his damage, or the Psy-Law because he can remove the action bind that Pizarro applies, and he also debuffs the enemies that are driven in Powerhouse, which I think these two enemies are. And of course, you can also bring Galaxy Impact Guard for his damage, but he doesn't give great buffs to the team and he dies pretty easily. So I didn't have a lot of success with him, even though I got like a pretty good attempt that was over a million with him on the team. I also experimented with the Psyware Recruit Chopper that was released with on the 11th anniversary batch for his healing, but it didn't work that well for me. And finally, the Whitebeard fight. I don't have a lot of good int characters that would be doing crazy damage because most of those units came recently, like the PvP Rare Recruit Lilith or the end of month Garland that we got last month. And also, they need investment, which I don't have, obviously. I don't even have the characters, let alone having high investments in them. So I just stuck with the same Dex team that I showed on my initial video, since it's pre-invested. I tried with the deck 6 plus the Flamingo instead of the Big Mom, but I didn't get the same level of damage. I was pretty surprised because I didn't think that the half stats from Big Mom would make such a difference. Now that I think about it, maybe I should try 6 plus the Flamingo instead of Pell, but I doubt it'll make a huge difference, honestly. Anyway, I hope you found this video helpful. Please like and subscribe for more Optc content and to help the channel grow, and have a nice day.